Hi, I'm Bob. I'm going to give you your walkthrough on your unit. So I start at the front of the unit, work my way all the way around the outside, then we do the inside, then we'll talk about your hookup. For your propane system, you have a cover, you have a hatch on the cover. The screws are always on the trailer side. If you flipped it around the other way as you're driving down the road, the wind would catch it here and rip off your hatch. If you know where your regulator's pointed to, you can turn on your tanks from here. If not, pull it off. So you have two full 20-pound tanks. Right now the regulator is pointed to this tank. This is your active tank. If you flip it around to this side, this is your active tank. Right now the regulator's in the green. That's stipulating that there's propane in the main line. The only way to get it back to red is to have an empty tank or to bleed it off at the stove. It's not necessary to do that each and every time you're driving down the road because it's minimal amount of propane in that line. With this unit, near the back by your outdoor kitchen, there is an RV quick connect for an RV style barbecue. It's an RV style barbecue because it's after the regulator. If you wanted to use your home barbecue, you can purchase a brass tee. It would fit into the cylinder there. The green part would attach to one end of the tee and you'd have an 8 to 12 foot hose running to your barbecue. Your landing gear. You have a light and it extends and retracts. This is how you're going to level your trailer the most. There are no levels on your trailer. So if you purchase the little trailer levels, use a 2 or 4 foot level in on the floor lengthwise, get it as close as possible to zero, match it on one of the sides of the unit. Then flip it around widthwise, get it as close as possible to zero, match it on the front or the rear of the unit. You always want to put it on some sort of boards because if it rains, you sink. If you're fully extended or fully retracted, once in a while it gets caught up in here. If that happens, you pull out the rubber stopper on the top. There's a little nut in there and you crank it one way or t'other, it releases it and you're back to electric. Your other jacks are your stabilizer jacks. So you have your crank. Once again, you want to put them on some sort of boards because if it rains, you sink. One way is down, the other way is up. Because they are manual. If you're on a slight grade, you can level your trailer widthwise. If you're on a drastic slope, pull the tires up onto blocks. Inside your compartment here, you do have your outside shower hose. It is strictly cold water. Inside your compartment here you have a dual light. It's 1 or 2. In the 1 position the light is on. In the 2 position it is a motion detector. So you can close the door, the light goes out. Once you open the door, the light would come on. For your battery, you have a 24 deep cycle RV battery. While you're plugged into Shoreline, it's charging. While you're plugged into your vehicle driving down the road, as long as you have the fuse, it'll be charging. If you had a solar panel, it'd be trickle charging. If you had the Furion style solar, it would plug in down there. The battery is trickle charging. The number of different ways that it charges, plus the heat of the summer, causes evaporation. So prior to a trip, open up your cells on the battery. 6 holes, about 1 inch down is the base of the cone. The fluid level should be to there. If it is low, distilled water is preferred. Not everybody has distilled water, bottled water is fine. If you don't want to use bottled water because that's your drinking water, boil some water, let it cool, pour that in. Never directly out of the tap. During your winterization process, I do recommend pulling the battery off, storing it somewhere warm, and throw it on a trickle charger. The rest of what you see up front is for your hookup. So going down this side of the unit, you have the other side of your compartment. So in here you do have a light switch. On this light switch, that is your ambiance lights in the front of the unit. So up top here you have the nice little blue lights. All trailers come with 2 water systems. The first one is called your fresh water. You stick your hose in, you fill it up until the water starts spitting out. This, I believe, is a 40-gallon tank. That's 400 pounds of added weight to your hitch. This is the system that uses the pump. The drain for your tank is right down here. That little cap there, you pull that off and it'll drain straight to ground. It's fresh water. Your other water system is called your city water. So you're hooking your hose up to here, it's under pressure. For that reason, it's recommended that you get a water pressure regulator. Don't put the regulator here, put it at the tap end. That way your hose doesn't take all the pressure. Now, you have a couple of black tanks and a few gray tanks. You have Sani flushes for both black tanks. So how they work, you have your hoses hooked up, you open up your black tank, you let it drain. Hook up your water line, turn on the water. There's a nozzle inside your Sani or your black tank, it's spraying at all your sensors. Let that go for 5 to 6 minutes. Close your black tank, go inside, monitor your system. Let the tank fill up to about 1/3 full. Shut off the water. Open your black tank, let it drain. Close your black tank. Open your gray tank. It'll clean out your Sani line that much more. Then what I do is I take the water line from here, I take the Sani line off the unit, I rinse it out even more. I store all my Sani lines in a Rubbermaid bin with a lid in my compartment. I do not store them in the bumper. The more you pull out the bumper caps, the easier it is to pop off. You go over a bump, there it goes, there goes your hose. I've been hit by too many, and it rusts out your bumper. Now, your hot water tank. The important thing in here, your plug. That's holding the water in, that's how you winterize it. You have your pressure relief valve. If it builds up too much pressure, it will relieve itself. The more you open this, the more it's going to drip. It's a DSI system, direct starter ignition. Battery ignited, do not come out here with the torch and try to light it. So, how they work. If you're dry camping, turn the pump on first. When the pump goes silent, this is full. Go to your kitchen hot water faucet, turn it on, steady stream of water, no air, you're good to ignite it. If you're at a full amenity location, about 2 minutes after you turn on the water, this is full. Open up the hot water faucet in the kitchen, steady stream, good to go. I always start off on gas first. It heats it up faster. If I'm plugged into any source, I'll switch over to electricity. The switches for that are on the inside. Heater vent. It's going to get hot here. Don't lean your lawn chairs up against there, they will melt. Now, your slides. Prior to opening slides, take a look on the inside. Things shift as you're driving down the road. If anything gets in behind your front fascia, you will do damage. Make sure you have the 3-foot clearance on the outside. You run it into anything, you will do damage. Now the important part on your slides are the rubber seals. During the heat of the summer, the sun is sitting there baking them, drying them out, making them brittle. There's a solution called Slide Out Rubber Seal. It's a silicone-based spray. So once or twice a month, you just spray it on nice and liberal. It keeps them nice and supple. For your cable drive, the best thing for them, there's a solution called Slide Out Dry Lube. It's a dry graphite lube. So you spray it on, and it keeps your slide operating nice and smoothly. If you used a WD-40 or something to that effect, it's oil-based, it'll attract dirt, grit, grime. It's going to start grinding and sounding terrible. It's bad for your slide. So you have your couple of grays right down in here, and your black. On the rear of the unit, if you have a satellite dish, you can hook up your satellite. If you're at a full amenity location, most of them offer you cable. You hook up your cable. Your power cord, it's a 50 amp service. Most of your sites only offer 3 or 4 sites that are 50 amp. So there is an adapter 50 to 30 that you may wish to purchase. That way you go into a site and they only have it a 30 amp service, at least you can run half of your stuff. For your power cord, the black part just twists off. You turn it a quarter turn to unlock it, and out you come. There's only the one way it can go on. You got the 2 prongs with the hooks. So you put it in, turn it a quarter turn, tighten it down, throw the lid over it so the rain will funnel off. Your spare tire, it's identical to your main tires except for the rim. This is a solid rim, you have the chrome rims. So if you have a flat, you're going to jack up your trailer with your truck jack, swap out the tires. Enjoy your holiday. When you get home, you're going to want to get the tire fixed and swap back out because of the rim. If you want to advertise for us, throw the cover on. If not, don't worry about it. You're advertising for us all over. Up in behind that plate, there are wires for a reverse camera. Now, you do not have a ladder on here. It is recommended that every 90 days you climb up to the roof, take a look at all your seals. You're not just looking on the roof, take a look at all your seals. If you notice any cracking or deterioration, get it resealed. Right here, this is where your outdoor shower is. It's a quick connect, pop it on, and there you go. Right here you do have a RV style barbecue tray holder. Just unpin it and it folds out and around. Once you have it around, you can pin it so it won't move around on you. You do have a rack for hanging your utensils. The RV quick connect for the barbecue is right here. When you hook onto that, there's a little plug that you put in line and the propane comes out. Now you have an outdoor kitchen. So you have cupboards in here. You have a light up top so you can see what you're doing. Your outdoor stove just pulls out. When you pull it out, lock it into position. Then you have your quick connect hose. Bring her down, connect it, and throw it in line. You're going to want an RV barbecue lighter. Go to high and light your stove. And turn it off. It's a metal lid. This is going to be hot after you've cooked. Drop her down, it's not going to affect the lid any. Unlock it, turn off your propane, and disconnect. Throw the hose back into the compartment and slide your stove back in. Lock her down. You do have hot and cold water out here. And your plug. You do have an outdoor fridge. It is strictly electric. Your thermostat is right here, temperature control. You have to be plugged in for it to work. And your more covered space. Now, your doors. Your stairs simply fold up and in. When you're pulling them out, use the handles or you lose your knuckles. On the rear door, you just have a handle. On your main door, you have the easy assist handle. Both doors have your screen door. If you're inside, you have the easy assist handle, so you just press down and out you come. Less mosquitoes get in, but they still get in. It attaches here. Handle to close the door from the inside, handle to open the door from the inside. Get both so you feel safe at night. Your locks. To lock your handle, turn to the right so it's horizontal and out you come. To lock your deadbolt, turn to the left, back to this position and out. To unlock it, it's to the right, back to this position and out. Fridge vent, fridge vent. Every once in a while, open up the bottom one here. Through the little holes here, dust and pine needles get in there. If you're operating off of propane, there is a live flame in there. It's a fire hazard, so clean it out every once in a while. Last thing on the outside, well, you got a couple of speakers. If you're plugged into power, you do have 110 power. If you're hooked up to cable or satellite, you can watch TV outside. Last thing on the outside is your awning. So you got a switch here, it says awning, retractor, extend. Hit the extend, out she goes. You have awning lights, LED lights light up. So when your awning is all the way out, it's perfectly level. Electric awnings have shocks. They handle the wind a lot better than the old style. So if it's all the way out and it starts to rain, it's going to be perfectly level. The rain is going to collect up there. One end or the other, just pull down right here. It'll alter your pitch. Now the rain will funnel off in one direction. When you retract it for going home, retract it all the way against the unit. If you leave it out 3 or 4 inches, the wind will catch it as you're driving down the road and rip it right off. As you enter your unit, please notice where your fire extinguisher is. Okay, so your entryway light is just like your compartment. It has position 1, it's always on, or position 2 where it is a motion detector. For your main control board, it's right here. So I have your hot water tank on via gas right now. Your water pump is turned on. To have your electric water heater, it's this switch. These 2 lights, this first one is your lights over top of your island. The second one is your main living area lights. Your awning LED lights are right there. Your awning controls are right here, and your slide controls are right here. When you press on these, it tells you your state of affairs. So your battery is a false reading. We're plugged in right now, so your converter is telling this board that the battery is full. The only way to get an accurate reading is to be unplugged. Your fresh is 2/3, so I can do my show. Your black is empty, your gray 1 is empty, your gray 2 is empty. Over here is your other black tank, and it's reading empty. So your thermostat for your furnace and for your air conditioner. Right now I have the air conditioner on low auto. You could have it in either low or high, or low auto, high auto. The difference between those, in the auto position, it goes to the temperature you have set and shuts down. So your mode button is the long one. You set your temperature by the arrows. So when you turn it off, you go all the way through until it says off. It'll take a minute for this to tell the air conditioner to shut down. With your air conditioner up here, if these vents are open, it's a lot, the majority of your air is right here. It's a lot louder. With them closed, it forces the air to your ceiling vents. You open either side, there's filters, you pull them out, you rinse them out, you shake them out, you throw them back in. Your furnace. Your air intake is right here. All your heat vents are on the floor or the little circles beside the floor. So going into your mode button, first thing that comes up is your fan speed, high or low. Then it's your air conditioner, then it's the heater. The heater does not give you an option. It has to be in the auto mode. So when I turn on the heater, take a minute for that to start up. What you're going to get is the initial purge. It's getting rid of its old gas. It's saying, okay, we're going to go to this temperature, da-da-da-da-da. Then there will be a click. That'll be the pilot light lighting. A minute later, it'll start forcing out the hot air. There's the click. So when you turn that off, it'll run for another 2 to 3 minutes. It's doing its cool down purge. So I'll go back into the air conditioner and will start getting cool air again. Now, in your kitchen, all your cupboards and drawers, your pantry is right here. All your cupboards and drawers are a little stiff. Once you have them filled with stuff, you don't want them opening. You do have a light right here so you can see what you're cooking. As well, the quickest way to know that you have electricity is right there. I do not teach you how to operate a microwave. To me, it's a bread box. For your stove, you have a light and you have a fan. When you're cooking with propane, it causes condensation. Have the vent outside open and the fan going. If your windows start to steam up, open some windows. Get that condensation out of here. So you have your travel lid. It's tempered glass. Most people are leaving a site right after breakfast. This is hot. The heat does not affect tempered glass. To light your stove, you go to light and spark. Okay, for your oven, open up the oven, go to your pilot mode. Push in on the dial, light your pilot light. Hold it once it's lit for about 25 to 30 seconds. It's a thermocouple, it has to heat up. After the 25 to 30 seconds, then you release, the pilot light stays going, go to the temperature that you want, and the flame comes forward. There's no big poof and you lose all the hair on your arm. When you're done cooking, turn it right off. Do not leave it in the pilot mode. A little gust of wind will blow out the pilot light. The thermocouple is a stopper, but it could fail. You now have gas entering your unit. The most important part of your walkthrough, your fridge. So you have your power button right here. You push and hold. Turn it on, and it'll tell you automatically what mode it's in and your temperature setting. Eventually those will go out. The green light means that it's operating on electricity. If somebody walked by and unplugged you, it would automatically go to gas. It would turn to an amber colored light. If it goes to a red light, one of three reasons. Your propane's turned off, you're out of propane, or the pilot light did not light. Check the first two first. If it's the pilot light, turn the fridge off, wait a minute, turn it back on. Let the fridge ignite itself. So, to go into gas, once it ignites, it should go to an amber light. So, how they actually work. Your temperature control is here, it goes up to 5. Most people will run it on around 3. It's been turned on for a little while, it's nice and cold. So, you're at home, you're plugged in. There's a solution in the back. It's going all the way around the piping, round and round. It's drawing the heat from inside the fridge, dispersing it outside. So if it's hot outside, it's going to take a while to get to temperature. Once it's to temperature, it'll hold that temperature without a problem. So you're fully loaded. You have all your slides in. You have unplugged. You've turned off your propane because it's illegal to drive with propane turned on. Whether you turn the fridge off or not does not matter. It'll go into a lockout stage. It'll hold its temperature for 5 to 6 hours of travel time. So you're driving down the road. You stop for lunch. You turn on your propane. You come inside here. If you had left it on, turn it off, wait a minute, turn it back on. If it was turned off, turn it on. It'll sense the gas, it'll ignite, it's instantly to temperature because it's been holding its temperature. Random number, half hour later you finish your lunch, you turn off your propane, you have another 5 to 6 hours of travel time. It's a random number because a minute after you ignited it, it's reset and you have that 5 to 6 hours. That's how they work. Now, safety. The solution going around in the piping. It's water, ammonia, and a chemical. It's not a harmful chemical like Freon. The most distinguishable is the ammonia. So if you come in here and you smell ammonia, do not open your fridge. If you opened your fridge, ammonia will knock you out right now. If you're in it long enough, it could kill you. If you smell it, there's a crack in your piping, you need an RV tech or a refrigeration tech. Shouldn't happen for 25 to 30 years down the road. But you need to know that because you have 3 detectors in here. You have your smoke detector up on the roof, and down here, the little white box is a 2-for-1. It's gas and carbon monoxide detector. Not one of them detects ammonia. So your nose knows. It's the only reason I've told you. Now, on your island, you do have drawers and cupboards, and you have your hot water with the sprayer. So, on gas, be extremely careful of the water temperature. It can be scalding. You have what they call a cutting board. Myself, I would never use it as a cutting board. To me, it's a counter extender. So if I'm cooking here, I'll put hot pads there. I'll put my hot pots onto the hot pads. Now, your entertainment center. You have cupboard space here, cable hookup. You have USB ports here. That's for charging cell phones, laptops, tablets, whatever you have. They are 12-volt hookups. So you're going to mount your TV here. You have 110 power here. You have satellite hookup here. You have cable hookup here. Beside it is a little black button that activates a green light. That is your antenna boost. If you have a high-def TV and it's a high-def antenna, you will pick up channels off the airwaves. Analog stations come in snowy. Digital channels come in crystal clear. If you're hooked up to your stereo, to the TV, the stereo is a DVD, CD player, it's Bluetooth, all of that stuff. You throw a DVD in there, it's playing on the TV and the sound is going through your sound system. If you want to watch your TV with the sound going through your system, go through the mode button and you will find TV audio. Now the sound is going through your system. You have a power button right there. So, right now it's in speaker zones 1 and 2. So, when I hit zone 1, zone 2. Zone 2 is your inside speakers. Zone 1 is your outside speakers. So if you're at a site that says no noise after a certain hour, turn off 1. If you're using a stick, do not have your music or your movies in files. It will not read files. Then you have your auxiliary port and your headphone ports. When you quickly hit the power button, it goes into sleep mode. It's draining your battery. Push and hold, it shuts right down. Now, inside this pouch are all the manuals that we have on this unit, as well your spare key and your remote for this stereo. With that being said, this is now disappearing into a drawer so it's not bouncing around on your trip. Your dinette. By your dinette here you have 2 light switches. The inside one is your ambiance lights in the dinette. The first one is your lights in the slide. Underneath your dinette there is storage. You can get through it to here and here, or you can lift up the cushions and go through this board to get to your storage. It does turn into a bed. To turn it into a bed, you just lift the leg up, pull it out of the wall, put it down onto the rails, down here, have the cushion out of the way, take your back cushions, put them on top. It's actually quite comfortable. All your windows have the night shades. You can travel with them in any position. All your windows with screens will open. Your couch isn't just a couch. In the middle here you do have cup holders, and it does turn into a bed. Lift up on the front, there is storage underneath, pull it out. I call it the poofy bed because one side is a little poofier than out. Lift it up, pull on the back side, and it slides back in. Going through the rear door here, you're going into your bunk space. So, you have a light switch here for all your main lights. You do have a vent in here when you're traveling down the road. Ensure that is closed. Tells you a maximum weight of 300 pounds on the bunks. I haven't seen a 300-pound kid yet. There is a position here for putting a TV. You have your cable hookup and 110 power. You have your ladder here to get into the bunk and storage space. On this side you have another couch that turns into a bed. You do have the middle coffee part or cup holders. And there's your lower bed, the upper bunk. Unlock it and let her down. There's your bunk. When you're traveling, you can travel with it down or up. Last thing in the bedroom is your emergency window. So it's a screened window, it still opens. You hook it onto the handle. If it was an emergency, pull on the red tab, the screen comes in, push out on the window, dive on out or back on out. A broken wrist or a broken ankle is a lot better than being burned alive. However, you do have two doors, use one of them. Inside your bathroom, you have a medicine chest. You have cupboard space. You have hot and cold water. You have a toilet. Partial step, it fills with water. All the way, it flushes. You have your vent with a fan. So you open it up, turn it on. And you have your light switch for your lights. Going to the front of the unit, go through the door, it leads into the main bathroom. Light switch right beside the door for all the lights. Once again, you have a medicine chest, cupboard space, hot and cold water. Your shower has a stopper and you slide it open. The big thing with your shower, it's not cocked at the bottom. The reason being, the basin has a backing inside the wall of 8 to 10 inches, so the water will hit, splash in there, come back into the basin. It's left open so it can breathe. Mold and mildew will not form. These are magnetized. Once in a while they will stick together and pull off one side or the other. Just rip them apart and put it back onto the door. Once again, you have your toilet, stepper, partial step, fills with water. All the way it flushes. You have a big drawer right in behind the toilet. You have a cupboard space for all your towels and linen, and beside that a huge hanging closet. Once again, you do have a vent with a fan. You do have your privacy door. When you're traveling down the road, ensure that it is locked in the open position. You do have a light switch here in your bedroom for your main lights. Above your bed you have your reading light, and you have a little switch up here for your ambiance lights. On either side of the bed you have your hanging closets. Up top is for your folded clothes. This side you have your hanging closet once again. In underneath on both sides you do have 110 power. Underneath the bed you do have storage. So inside here as well you do have your outside barbecue. And there's your hose to hook it up. That is the inside of your unit. So what we have left to do is bring in all the slides and show you how much room you have driving down the road. Ensure that all your doors are closed and nothing's in the way of the slides. So, slide 1 is your kitchen slide. The kitchen slide is the safest slide to open originally. That way you can get down to that end and check to make sure everything is clear on that end. Your slide 2 is your back bedroom slide. To check that slide when it's all the way in, that nothing has got in behind the front fascia, go through your bathroom door. And slide 3 is your main slide. Now that slide is going to come right up to the counter. So with all the slides in, you are not getting to your fridge. You do have access to your dinette, so if you pack a lunch, you can have lunch at your dinette without opening your slide. You cannot open your bathroom for the use of your bathroom, but you could go through the rear door and use the rear bathroom. If it's late at night, you're opening your slides so you could actually get to your bedrooms. And we're outside doing your hookup. So for your hookup, you'd back your vehicle in, put the ball underneath there, lower and higher right here, lock it onto the ball. Once it's locked onto the ball, you have a locking pin, lock it into place. Put all the weight onto your vehicle. So once you got all the weight onto the vehicle, stand back, take a look at the whole picture. You want to see your truck riding normal. You want to see the trailer perfectly level. If you have that picture, raise the foot up as high as you can. You do not want it as a low point. Then you cross your chains. You're creating a cradle. Hook them onto your truck. So if the hitch ever came out of the receiver, it falls into the cradle. If you ever came off the ball, it falls into the cradle. The next thing that you have is your breakaway cable. So it's a long wire hooked into a little box down underneath here. If the pin ever gets pulled out, 2 metal plates inside that box go like that. They make a circuit. The battery senses that circuit and dynamites your brakes. So you don't want this cable anywhere near the ground where it can snag on anything. So the easiest way to do it is to pull it up through here, put it through your locking pin, and attach it beside your chains. Now it's off the ground, it's not going to snag on anything. Safe driving. Then you have your 7-way plug. It's a long plug. It's electrical. You don't want it anywhere near the ground. You plug it into your 7-way. The lid lifts up, it follows the track in, the lid locks it into place. Once you have that hooked up, start up your vehicle. Turn the lights to the on position. Check all your running lights all the way around the unit. Once you've done that, test your signals, test your brakes, test your hazards. If you're hooking up by yourself, turn on the hazards. That checks your blinkers and your brakes. Once you have that completed, jump into your truck, pull forward a few feet, apply your brakes like normal. If you feel the trailer pushing you, there's not enough brake on the trailer, add gain on your brake control. If it's pulling you back, stopping you real quick, there's too much brake on the trailer, subtract the gain. Once you get it to a happy place, if you're driving down the highway and the trailer starts to sway on you, you have your brakes set. Do not apply your brakes. Take your foot off the accelerator. On your brake control now, you have a toggle switch. Ever so gently depress it. It's adding brake to the trailer. You will feel the trailer slightly pulling you backwards, but it's coming under control. It's acting like a jake brake. Once it's directly behind you again, you release the brake control and you're back to normal driving. That is all there is.